So let's start with, sir, please could you introduce yourself and tell us a little about your professional journey? Also, something aspects of your work that excite you the most.
My name is Dr. Darlie Oommen Koshy. It was shortened most of the part of my career because Oommen was a very difficult middle name. But in Kerala, people know me as Darlie Oommen Koshy. So I'm back here after nearly 45 years of, a career. And it has been a unique, exciting career because it gave me an opportunity to do things which I've never planned myself, nor probably even the education, except my communication ability and some innovative capabilities. Nothing of my education was preparing me for the eventual career journey which I took because I happened to work in Kerala the last in 1986 when I was the managing director of the Kerala State Handloom Development Corporation, which sort of accidentally brought me into fashion because we made a strategy to start exporting to US, and very important brands like Bill Blass and Calvin Klein and Tommy Hilfiger we were able to export from Kerala. Because I'm mentioning because this interview should excite people that actually even the NIFT's birth is connected to Kerala Garments in Kannur. And I was the MD. And because of that experience of exporting fashion garments, the government of India, which was setting up the National Institute of Fashion Technology through an act in Parliament, invited me because I was probably one of the two people available in India who knew how to export from the public sector. So I landed up in National Institute of Fashion Technology as a founding head of fashion management. Actually, got trained in FIT New York and served 13 years in NIFT, actually transforming the institute's relationship with industry. I did UNDP research across many countries, got the doctorate from IIT Delhi. So it was a very transformative period. I would call it a very, very alchemist type of period. Thereafter, I was appointed by the Commerce Ministry. So I moved from Textile Ministry to Commerce Ministry to become the fifth director of the National Institute of Design at the beginning of the new millennium and the beginning of the new century. So I took over in the last week of May 2000, and I served almost a whole decade in two terms as the director of NID. I was very young. I still about 44 when I took over. So it was a good experience because that gave me an opportunity to set up India's first national design business incubator. I was able to set up the first R&D campus for introducing IT and experience design into the country. I was able to set up a postgraduate campus, which has now become a thriving campus in Gandhinagar in Gujarat. The NDBI has completed 20 years and created 200 entrepreneurs. So that was again a very exciting period. And before that, I did not mention that before even becoming in Kerala the MD of KSHDC, I was the first founding general manager at the National Handloom Development Corporation. Again, an act of, parliament to set it up. And I was picked up from Kerala to head that organization as the first general manager. There was no managing director for nearly 2.5 years. That period, from the registration to setting up yarn banks, including in Kerala, we had set up 4 or 5 yarn banks in 1986-87. Set up a handloom marketing complex also in Kerala in Ernakulam. So that period was very, very, aggressively challenging because it was a very challenging national responsibility of supplying hang yarn to the poor weavers across the country and also competing with the private traders in a price competition. So anyway, so that period probably strengthened me to take up these challenges later as the director of NID because it was in a very bad condition in 1999 by the time I took over. Its infrastructure had gone. The campus was already about 1961 built campus. It had many floods and natural calamities, so the campus was weak. So I had a major challenge on my hand. So that was a very defining period. But I would say that the ministers with whom I worked with, including Arun Jaitley and Mr. Kamal Nath and Jyotirajit Scindia and many others, I had Ravan Singh. So I had great support from the ministry as well. So we transformed the institute in about the 2 decades. We created the design summits, the design excellence awards, created a design showcase in Pragati Maidan, and increased the campus to become another 2 more campuses set up in Bangalore and Gandhinagar, created a first national design policy in 2000. The government of India approved it. It changed the entire direction of the design industry and design education in the country. Today, there are 300 universities and 3,000 colleges offering design programs. You could not have even imagined. Some 90, 80 students coming from NID was the only output at that time, and NIFT also a little bit in fashion. But now, today, the number of design programs and design institute, when I look back, it was a very defining period. But that did not end. I moved about a few months before my second term ended back to New Delhi on the invitation of the Apparel Export Promotion Council. So they had wanted me to set up the institutes which they already had a bit of beginnings, the Institute of Apparel Management and the Apparel Training and Design Center. And as luck would have it, in 2009, the government of India created the first national skill development policy. And probably I was at the right time at the right place. And the government of India, we were able to convince to give about 217 crores to my organization. And we set about, of course, in installments, but we set about training about 300,000 people between 2010-11 and 2021, in that decade. That is captured, these things which I told you have been captured in my 2 books. One, The Indian Design Edge, which had the foreword by Ratan Tata himself, and the other book, Runway to Skilled India, by Mohandas Pai, had written the foreword. Both these books almost summarize these things which I mentioned to you. The NIFT period are captured in 2 other books, which are my first books, The Export Marketing and Garment Export Winning Strategy. So these books have made it a point to sort of capture the travel and the journey of this period. But I would say that these were not the things which one planned and happened. So this was serendipitous, and this was challenging, and it was a journey which I feel out of the 9 years where I was not in education, the first 9 years, and 36 years later were in education. And that too exciting, ever-changing field like fashion and design and skill development, So I feel the SMART program which I introduced, Skills for Manufacturing of Apparel through Research and Training. That program helped very young youth to acquire very advanced manufacturing skills in producing different kinds of women's and men's apparel. So that almost strengthened the industry to achieve greater exports in that period. And also socio-economic impact of that in many marginalized families were far greater. So overall, I would say that, the journey from Kerala, born in a village in Cheriyanad, in Cheganur, to becoming part of Trivandrum St. Joseph's School, to Arts College Trivandrum, to University College, and to QSAT for MBA, and to IIT Delhi for doctorate, and in between fellowship in US Fashion Institute of Technology, the State University of New York. And thereafter, spreading out globally to become board member of the World Design Organization 3 terms, and to have been working with the central government ministers, the top industrial from Adi Godrej to Sam Pitroda to Ratan Tata, all have come to my home, or there we had this after convocation dinners which are held at the director's residence. So I feel somewhat, happy that gave me this opportunity, which was challenging, but the life also was exposed to something which very few people would have seen it in that quarters, world over and in India. So I took a long time because I feel that this story in Kerala is not known. In fact, even my next door people do not know anything about it. So it is okay that, somewhere this record which you made today might be helpful.
Yes. Thank you so much. Actually, we are very fortunate that to have you in Trivandrum Management Association then, because of the exposure that you have had. So what I would like to ask you is, as part of the TMA, what would you say makes this community unique? And what is worth, and why is it worth being a part of it?
Yeah, see, in Delhi, I was very close to actually staying in near the All India Management Association. In fact, my professor from IAM, who taught me for 3 months in one of the programs which I attended in 1981-82 period, was associated with AIMA. So we had very close interactions with All India Management Association, also with the Kerala Management Association, where I was a speaker a number of times on various programs. And A.K. Nair and some of my earlier college mates, when I came back to Trivandrum, two organizations I became quite a bit fast member, one of which was the TMA. And I think, Mukesh knows from those days, I became member. But why I became member is because I know that management, being a management student and, having studied in both Kerala and in IIT Delhi in Management Department of Management Studies, personally believe this is a very important thing where you are situated as a management institute or management education or a management association. For example, in IIT, when you situate a management institute, it's a very different complexion. Like if you place design in technology environment, it's different. In a city, when you become part of the city development initiatives, the TMA is, I think, 2020 or before that, the report on Trivandrum development initiatives did attract my attention. I read it sitting in Delhi at that time. So when I came back, I was interested that what can one do to your own city where you grew up and you are proud of. So I feel that is the essence of my interest in TMA, how we can use this association to reach out to bring in the element of the glue of design to hold very disparate elements into a synergistic, impactful manner. And that is what design does. It is not as if design is about some graphic representation or some color. It is about how you think innovatively, break the barriers, whether it is lateral barriers or horizontal barriers, or you're breaking the walls which are around you, and making the sandbox disappear and think freely to envision a new future. So I feel TMA is very poised to do that, and the president currently has the right interest about Trivandrum, and I've heard his numerous advocacy for the Trivandrum city, and I have been very much impressed with the efforts which he is taking. So he was the first one to call me to take some ideas which I had presented to the previous management also to take it forward, getting global designations for Trivandrum city, which is what is occupying my attention at the moment with the TMA.
So can you share one memorable experience or event that is connected with TMA?
Well, I have attended, I think, a couple of your annual, the symposium, Trima, in Tamara, and when Padma Kumar was the, president, and I felt it was a very good gathering of young professionals and experienced professionals together. It's also in KMA. I have been a speaker twice there in their annual summit. So that attracts great. One was on health, which was very impressive.
One health.
Which was very impressive. I was very informed through that particular seminar. Another one was your yearly annual some kind of a event where all the people presented and had many interesting, entertainment programs. So that was also good because the community came together. So there are many things which I think every day it is happening. I am not too familiar with all the events because of my time constraints, because I'm currently the Vice President of the World Craft Council for 4 years. So it is because the activities are spread across the world in 7 geographic regions and many. Right now at 4:30 I have a Zoom meeting with those things happen every day. So it is not easy for me at this point to devote more time. But today morning also I had a meeting with the president. We are pushing the next stage of the global designations research and preparing the documents. So our plan is in the next 3 years we would push global designations with number of institutions as a consortium, whether it's TMA or Chamber or other associated institutions which can take interest. and make Trivandrum, which is undergoing a tremendous transformation after the Vizhinjam International Seaport, and now with the new budget announcements about the maritime policy, etc., there is greater scope for Trivandrum to not only look at its industrial and such development, but also it is very good for intangible cultural heritage. Just look at the architecture from East Fort to Kavadiyar Palace. Amazing.
Yes.
And the Laurie Baker's, the archives and various buildings he has done in the city. And also the film festivals, the music festivals and the Surya festival and the Nishaganthi festivals. So many things are happening in Trivandrum. The cultural fabric is so strong. We can promote not just a soulless city, but a city with the soul. And that is what TMA can be part of. And I think it is the right organization to be taking a lead in this respect.